Hi, this is Karen Riddell, and I'm doing this screencast to demonstrate how to create a Blackboard Collaborate session in your Blackboard course. First, you need to log into your Blackboard course. You need to add your Blackboard Collaborate session to a content item, such as the Course Documents section over in your course menu on the left. Click the Content button and then use the Tools menu at the top to choose Blackboard Collaborate. Click on the Create Session button up under the title Blackboard Collaborate list page. And notice that there are 4 tabs across the top: Information, Participation, Sharing, and then Content Area. You'll need to check each of these settings before you hit the Submit button. Under Information, there are several sections. Under Session Information, you need to provide your session a title. Typically, it's good if you keep the course number and name in the title. The session type allows you to choose whether this session is available only to people in this course or if you would like to share it across multiple courses in Blackboard. If you want this session to be available in multiple sessions, multiple courses. Under the schedule, this is where you choose the date, the start and end time. Make sure to start it at least about 15 minutes in the future, and we suggest that you create one session for your course and leave it open all semester long versus creating a multitude of different Collaborate sessions. It just keeps things a little bit easier. The early session entry allows you to choose how early someone can get into a session before you've actually opened it. Under Session Attributes, you have the following options. The default recording mode is manual. You can change this to automatic, or you can completely disable it. Manual still allows the instructor to press record and record a session. They just get to choose when the recording starts and stops. Maximum simultaneous talkers and cameras are set at 3. Both of them can be increased up to a total of 6. Supervised means that moderators can view all private chat messages in the session, not just the public ones. So if you check this box and students or participants send each other private chats, the moderator will see those. So you should notify your participants of that ahead of time. All permissions mean that all participants have full access to resources such as the audio, whiteboard, etc. when they enter, so you can check that if you want your students to be able to take the microphone or ask for the microphone and talk, or to utilize the whiteboard. You can ask them to raise their hand on entry, and this means that when they enter a course, the number will automatically be associated with them based on their time of entry. You can allow in-session invitations. This lets you send the session URL while you're inside a session to somebody else outside, even outside of Blackboard, in order to invite them to attend, kind of right on the spot. And then finally, hiding names in recordings. If for some reason you're covering something that's sensitive and you don't want the names of your participants to appear in recordings, you can check this box. We recommend leaving it unchecked for most coursework. If you want to integrate with the Grade Center, you can enable this and then choose the number of points for that Grade Center column. Scrolling back up to the top under Participation, the Participation tab allows the session creator to assign session roles and to invite participants who aren't registered in the Blackboard class. So you could choose this option if you wanted all participants to join the session as moderators. This would be particularly important if you are creating a session that you want your students to use in your absence. So for instance, you have an upper level or graduate student course and you want them to be able to work in teams outside of class, and you don't want to have to be there as moderator. If you let them join the session as moderators, they can upload content, record the session, etc. Alternatively, you could choose particular invitees and select the arrow to move them over into the moderator panel. Everybody else would just end up joining the session as a participant. Under number 2, guest invitees, this section allows you to allow unregistered guests. You can enter their name and their email addresses, and they'll actually be sent an automatic email with the information about joining the particular session. So if you know in advance you want to bring in some people from off campus, you can put their information in here and they'll automatically get an email invitation. The sharing tab up at the top allows you to preload some content. So if, for instance, you wanted to have content preloaded in there so that you wouldn't have to upload the content at the beginning of each session, you could do that. If you have information about a third-party telephony line, you can include that information here. And if there are any notes, you can enter them here, and they'll appear to both moderators and participants on the details page prior to joining the session. Finally, under the content area button, this is where you specify the details of the link to this session in Blackboard. So this is actually going to be the link. So this is the link name to session. You could call it whatever you want. It's what the students will actually see in your Blackboard class that they select and click on. In this section here, you get to choose where you want this link to appear. I was in course documents, so I'm going to select that button because I want the link to this session to appear under course documents. Again, I can include a description or comments if I want for participants to be able to see. And if the session is required for students to attend, I can select this box. All sessions have the notation of either recommended or suggested or required. You can't actually get rid of either of those. So it's either going to be suggested, or if you click this box, it will show up as required. And then finally, under number 2, the options, these are the date and time constraints that control the link availability in Blackboard. So these dates and times control the link to the session, but not the actual session itself. Once you've chosen all of your options, then you can hit submit, and your course will be your session will be created. This is the session that I just created right here. And if we look under course documents, we'll see this is the link to the session that I just created.